Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. The Warriors are going through a bad moment in the season, and it seems that the team lacks chemistry between players. There is also a lack of harmony between coach Steve Kerr and the young players on the squad, including Jonathan Kuminga, who has had several relationship problems with the coach. Kuminga wants to be traded to another team. Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr isn't taking a soft tone with Jonathan Kuminga after calling the forward out. The Golden State Warriors need Jonathan Kuminga to break out as a future star this season, or else he might find himself on the trade block for a player who can be a legitimate co-star for Stephen Curry. Amidst a rough stretch of games where Kuminga is fighting for a consistent role in the rotation, Warriors head coach Steve Kerr bluntly called out what he needs to improve. "I'm not going to stop coaching him. The last 2 games, his field goal attempts, his decision-making has been poor. That needs to improve." Kuminga has averaged 11.0 points, 21.7 FG%, 4.0 rebounds, and 2.0 assists over the last 2 games as the Warriors fell to an embarrassing loss to the Memphis Grizzlies before rebounding with a strong win against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The team requires more consistency from him to use him as a featured piece, otherwise, they have little reason to give him the max extension he reportedly wants. He's averaging 15.1 points, 43.6 FG%, 4.4 rebounds, and 2.0 assists on the season. The team has held off on trading him so far, even refusing to include him in the Dennis Schroeder deal to land Cam Johnson as a featured scorer. The Warriors clearly value him but not high enough for him to get away with stretches of bad games, given how thin the margins for the franchise have been this season. He's actively being brought up in trades this season, and it seems like the Warriors can't ignore the potential value he can bring in a trade with his on-court upside. Even if he struggled to thrive in Golden State, a team that acquires him and tries to make him a featured piece could finally unlock that next level for Kuminga, who's played his entire career as a rotational role player due to the Warriors' win-now situation. Many fans believe he was foreshadowing a Warriors exit with an Instagram post, so it'll be fascinating to see how his relationship with the Warriors changes from now until the trade deadline. Golden State knows the upside they control with Kuminga's skill set, so if he gets moved, it'll be for a genuine star like Jimmy Butler or someone else. The team has depth already, so a Kuminga move will be required to facilitate a major acquisition rather than breaking him up into 2 worse rotational players and a pick. There aren't many elite options for the Warriors to go after if Butler isn't moved. They might have to consider a potential Brandon Ingram trade, but the team might not be happy about that given Ingram's status as a free agent himself. The options are narrowing for the Warriors, so they're going to have to get creative if they want to move Kuminga for a star-level player. Trading him for anything less seems wasteful, so Steve Kerr might have the right idea to try and motivate him into playing better because everyone's ideal outcome would be Kuminga taking a leap on the Warriors this season itself. Warriors' Jonathan Kuminga roasted for his part in Austin Reaves' game winner. The Golden State Warriors suffered a crushing loss on Christmas Day, as their comeback efforts were thwarted by the Los Angeles Lakers in a last-second 115-113 loss. Stephen Curry's heroics were not enough as Austin Reaves got to the basket and finished a layup to give the Lakers the win with just 1 second remaining. Tweet not found. The embedded tweet could not be found. Expand tweet. On the play, Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins got beat with a straight-line drive to the left side, and Reaves makes a nifty finish with his right hand to avoid the block attempt. You can see Jonathan Kuminga face guarding Rui Hachimura under the basket near the baseline, and he is late in rotation to help out on the drive. In theory, if Kuminga is not following Hachimura so closely, he could have been able to help out on the drive and maybe make a stop to send the game to overtime. Warriors fans certainly took note of this. They weren't happy with Kuminga's effort on the play, and they let him hear about it on social media. "I still can't believe Kuminga was face guarding a player that was out of bounds for game," one fan posted on X, formerly Twitter. Another added, "Rule number 1 on defense, never turn your back to the ball." Warriors fans have been getting impatient with Kuminga, and the team as a whole, during a stretch of play where the Warriors have struggled to stack wins together. After sitting near the top of the Western Conference at the beginning of the season, the Warriors have fallen back into the play-in mix after a string of close losses where they couldn't get the job done in crunch time. Kuminga has been a key piece of the team this season, despite seeing his role fluctuate between a starter and a bench player. He is currently third on the team in scoring at 15 points per game. He finished Christmas Day with 14 points and 6 rebounds on 4 for 10 shooting. Jonathan Kuminga responds to clear Kerr directive amid uncertain Warriors' future. While the Warriors failed to convert again in crunch time, Jonathan Kuminga took Steve Kerr's recent comments to heart, playing smarter and under more control on Monday night. Although the Golden State Warriors lost 111-105 to the Indiana Pacers on Monday night, young forward Jonathan Kuminga delivered one of his best games of the season. Through 30 minutes, Kuminga led the team in scoring with 26 points, also posting 8 rebounds and 4 assists. This marks only the 8th time this season he's had more than 20 points, and on another off night for Stephen Curry, it was Kuminga who stepped up for the offense in a major way. Jonathan Kuminga responded to Steve Kerr's comments. "Kuminga hasn't been the only wild card within the seemingly ever-changing Warriors rotation, with Brandon Podziemski, Kevin Looney, Lindy Waters III and Tracy Jackson-Davis all having oscillated in and out of the starting lineup." After a strong stretch of play in early December, Kuminga looked like he was slotted to take on the starting power forward spot, even pushing franchise legend Draymond Green back to the bench momentarily. His defensive capabilities seemed to be a fit beside Green in a small ball lineup, and his ability to attack the rim, the most integral piece of his offensive game, was finally working for the Warriors. However, after a pair of sloppy games in Memphis and Minnesota, Steve Kerr made the decision to retain Kuminga in a bench role despite the earlier good form. The head coach's comments regarding the change referenced Kuminga's poor decision-making, both in his field goal attempts and playmaking. In a time of transition for the Warriors, it's clear that Kuminga is out to prove both his worth to the organization and his value on the open market. Therefore, when Kerr moved him to the bench in favor of starting Tracy Jackson-Davis at center, Kuminga certainly felt the need to respond accordingly. While he wasn't overly active at the perimeter, going 2 of 3 on three-point attempts, he was able to get to the rim and draw fouls on multiple occasions, even with elite rim protector Miles Turner standing in the way. He ultimately shot 9 of 16 from the field, a massive improvement over his combined 5 of 23 against Memphis and Minnesota. Apart from an early stuffed shot and a late mishandling leading to a Warriors turnover, Kuminga also had a remarkably solid night with the ball in his hands. He passed over multiple contested shots in favor of hitting his open teammates, which helped to keep the Warriors' offense moving as it struggled through stretches of the second half. This is what Kerr wanted to see out of Kuminga, and it is indeed an encouraging sign that he was able to play more securely in a bench role. The Warriors still have a lot to figure out with this rotation, and Kuminga is certainly still in the running for a spot in the starting lineup. However, his role will be dependent on his continued ability to contribute in a team-centric manner to a Golden State offense that's still struggling to find its full identity. Former Warriors GM claims NBA only has 3 superstars on ESPN. Former Golden State Warriors general manager Bob Myers sparked quite the debate on ESPN's NBA Countdown pregame show on Wednesday when he said the NBA only has 3 superstars. In how Myers sees the league, only Warriors guard Steph Curry, Lakers forward LeBron James, and Suns forward Kevin Durant fit in the superstar category. While Myers says other players are stars, he said the difference between a star and a superstar is longevity. They've been great for a long, long time, Myers said. Greatness is sustained success over 15 years, over 10 years, championships. Ahead of the Warriors-Lakers matchup on Christmas Day, Myers offered this bold take after the pregame broadcast showed Curry and James dapping each other up pregame. Myers saw that as a sign of respect between the stars and couldn't wait for the game, as there aren't too many of these left between Curry and James. Myers' incendiary take got the exact response he should have expected from fellow panelist Stephen A. Smith, who told Myers he did not agree at all and offered up Giannis Antetokounmpo as an example. The segment immediately devolved into a back-and-forth, with Myers, Smith, and host Malika Andrews all speaking over each other on the topic. Smith added the idea that the other superstars might not be box office players, who draw a crowd on the road no matter where they play. Myers countered that being box office is part of being a superstar, which Smith acknowledged but wished Myers had said it first. Kendrick Perkins then chimed in, calling James and Curry megastars but saying Durant didn't deserve that title. Smith continued to not let the take go, referencing it again on a later segment in the pregame show and again at halftime of the Warriors-Lakers game, adding extra emphasis to the word superstar for Minnesota guard Anthony Edwards during a Timberwolves-Mavericks highlight. Superstar, megastar, whatever star you want to call them, Curry and James are squaring off on Christmas Day for the fourth time in their careers. The Warriors trail the Lakers 55-52 at halftime. Curry has 16 points, while James has 19 points for the Lakers. Analyst names the biggest issue with Warriors. You are here, home/sports/NBA/analyst names the biggest issue with Warriors. Analyst names the biggest issue with Warriors. Brandon Marcus. December 26, 2024. By Brandon Marcus. At Bran on the Ball. 0 comments. Follow the Cold Wire on Google News. Follow us. Analyst names the biggest issue with Warriors. Photo by the Aaron W. Henderson/Getty Images. The Golden State Warriors gave NBA fans some sensational basketball on Christmas evening, but it wasn't enough and they were taken down by the Los Angeles Lakers, 115-113. The team has now gone 3-7 in their last 10 games, and something is obviously going on. There are many problems with the Warriors, but what is the biggest one? According to Evan Giddings, the team is wildly inconsistent because they don't have a reliable top 8 and because the front office desperately needs to make a change as soon as possible. He said that Steph Curry has been a prime example of the team's state. He is good on some nights, even better on others, and then a complete mess every once in a while. Head coach Steve Kerr is trying what he can, but a roster adjustment is obviously. Giddings may be right, and the Warriors might be making some important moves soon. They have reportedly been looking at the trade market all season long, and many people predict they will do what they must before the upcoming deadline. Will they bring in another A-list star to play alongside Curry or perhaps a few new recruits? Giddings isn't sure, but he knows that something has to change. Kerr has been making tweaks to the lineup all season long, but nothing seems to stick and the Warriors currently have a 15-14 record, good enough for the 10th seed in the West. This suggests the team's problems aren't necessarily about coaching, and now it's up to the front office to do its job. So, will they? What changes will they pursue, and will it make a difference? Warriors fans want to see something new from their team, and soon.